computer. It doesn't really look like it, but there you go. It's portable actually, still wheels, but anyway, that's it. Right, really.
That's laptop.
Yeah, it weighs pushing 2 tonnes, so you really wouldn't have to want it propping your bedroom floor up. This machine is actually called the Harwell Decatron, or latterly known as the Witch. It's the world's oldest working original computer. It was built between 1949 and 1951 for use at Harwell, the Atomic Energy Research Establishment, who are engaged with building the first nuclear reactor for use in domestic situations, generating electricity, actually generating steam to generate electricity. The department that deals with the bangs is in Aldermaston, just down the road. So Oxford, Harwell, well, Western Oxford, is responsible for developing the first nuclear reactor for domestic purposes. That was installed at Calder Hall, which we now call Sellafield. Okay, and they're doing all their calculations on these things. Ever seen one of these? Hand crank mechanical calculator. So I can actually do some quite complex mathematics on these, involving big numbers. So I can multiply 9876 by 3 simply by adding it 3 times. And my answer's down here. Great, that's quite good. And division is much the same. So repeated addition, repeated subtraction. So 9876 now multiplied by 837. Who wants to have a go? We'll come back and double that. Yeah, you don't need to do that. You won't be surprised to know. And some of you may already be ahead of me. So I'll do 7 times, and then 3 times, and then 8 times, and there we are. 837. My answer is 82,606,212. Anyone test me on that one?
No.
Okay.
I think I passed.
So you're shifting basically. You're doing exactly what a computer does when it's doing multiplication by 2. It's doing bitwise shift, one way or the other, to multiply or divide. And this is what you do when you're doing long multiplication in your head. Anybody do that anymore? I can't remember the last time I actually kept trying. The Greek word for 10 is in there, and so you might be supposed to know that it's decimal memory on this. Here's achieved free running at mains frequency. It's just been clocked at 50 cycles. And you can stop it at any one of 10 values, 0 through to 9. Obviously designed by an engineer, because they started at 0. Or was it computer guys started at 0, end of 9? Always get that back to front. So 0 through to 9 you've got on here, and each memory location is actually a horizontal row of these devices. It looks like it should be hot, but it's not. It's a cold cathode device, so this orange glow is neon. So you see that some of them, not all of them by any means, are neon. The others have got sort of vaguely kind of violet glow to them, and I think that's helium in those ones. Not being a physicist, I couldn't tell you what the band gap is for helium, but it's probably going to be a violet display. So it doesn't matter which they are. The effect is like the right. You can see it's been polished or with a bit of angle and a bit of text in on the side there. And that reflects its latter use. But when it was at Harwell, it actually started up there with 2 memory modules. These 2 here. The rest were added later during its lifetime at Harwell. Because you always need more memory, don't you? Always. It was like that back in 1951. So there's nothing new. So memory locations here. I've got a sign indicator and I've got 8 significant figures of decimal memory storage in each location. I've got an accumulator for my calculations to be put into, results of my calculations to work here and here. Accumulator is twice the length of each location because when I multiply 2 8-digit numbers together, I'm going to get 16-digit numbers. So, so the accumulator's doubled up to cater for that overflow. It's, like I said, it's fetch, decode, execute. In this situation, my program is loaded in this memory block. At least I think it is. Right. So it's increment its way up the program count, which comes implicit in this. It's just stepping through memory locations in order. However, I can put jump instructions in here, so I can jump around the place. So you can write some gloriously inefficient code with this by jumping all over the place if you want. The go-to instruction is deprecated. It's go from Neumann, go press for record. Other people press for called Shannon was at the information theory one before when the system was actually was lucky enough to be able to attend part of those lectures, the really business end of the lectures, the last couple of weeks' work. And he picked up a lot of enthusiasm about what's happening in the States about the development of computing architecture. And so he was enthused by this. And the story goes that on the voyage back from New York to Southampton, about 5 days on the Queen Mary, he effectively sketched the design of a computer. Actually, let alone Glasswall has realised that Sydney Airport, where they've got one of these machines, one of these disk drives attached to their system, and some of the boys now pointed out this thing's pointing at the main runway. And the only thing between that and oblivion is a glass wall. And that is not going to offer any resistance at all if it goes wrong. So, roll into one bit. The nice thing is it's not 5 times the size of my one bit. That's the first bit. So my throughput, my data reading speed is the same. My throughput is 5 times that of the Mark 1, so it's effectively 25,000 characters processed per second. Because it's parallel nature. That's the only parallelism in this. Sometimes if I'm not getting the results out because there's not a good hard statistical content in there, I might have to put the second down when I'm starting the output. And what I want to hope to get is one discrete value for each pair of wheel settings.
Because they thought we didn't know the key of the day, we wouldn't be able to read the message. So the security is based on how big is that number of the ways you can set the key of the day. On the original machine, without plug board, 1,056,000. Now that isn't a big number in cryptology, There are techniques, you could break into it, might take you a few days or weeks, right? So the German military added the plug board on the front. I'll show you what they did in a moment. So we always use the German for this. This is called a Steckerbrett and these are called Steckers. So we don't confuse it with when we're talking about it. So the girls would plug up one permutation on each. Round the back they plug up the daisy chain. So this is the first one in ours. So it's an N on the input, an E on the output. Okay? So this only passes current on when N is becoming E as it's rotating. And it will feed this one. And the output of this will be a V. And that V feeds Z. And if all 12 of them line up, the current will come out here, the machine will stop. And it will be the same. The next three are telling you how far away from Z they have to travel before we find the stop. Now the maps say that there's one stop, but that's not all that in reality. Because
I left out a big chunk.
Ah, okay.
because
I didn't understand
I was
that.
asked to do it in 20 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Many small differences between machines. We can't look at everyone in detail, so for much of the time we'll be using the BBC micro. But with me today is John Cole, who wrote the user guide for this machine and knows much more about it than I do. John, this is a fairly simple layout, but it's fairly standard for most micros.
That's right, it's got the three elements that you expect to find. The computer itself, colour monitor so that we can look at the output pictures from the screen, and a cassette recorder for playing the program back into the computer.
Well, I'm